Wherever you are right now, allow yourself to simply be still. If you are lying down, let the weight of your body sink gently into the surface beneath you. Feel how it holds you. Feel how, in this moment, nothing is required of you. No answer, no effort, no urgency. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands rest open, like a child who has nothing to fear. Take one slow breath in and release it. And as you do, allow the world outside this moment to become quieter. The sounds of the day, the voices, the notifications, the worries you have carried, let them drift, like leaves on a slow-moving river, gently away from you. Tonight, there is nowhere else to be. Welcome to Bible Secrets, Hidden History. Tonight, we step away from the mysteries of the past to find the timeless rest and peace hidden within the sacred word. This is a special nighttime journey, one meant not to awaken the mind but to lead it home. Home to the very first place of peace this world ever knew. We are going to the garden, to the beginning of all things, to Eden. As you settle into the quiet of this night, if this space brings you comfort, consider subscribing to Bible Secrets, Hidden History, and Saving Our Sleep series to your playlist. Let your like be a silent prayer that carries this peace to other weary souls who are searching for rest tonight. Chapter 1. Before the garden, the sacred stillness of the beginning. Before there was a single leaf, before there was water, before the first breath of wind ever moved across an open plain, there was only silence. And that silence was not empty. It was full. It was warm and immeasurable, and alive with a presence so vast, so gentle, so all-encompassing, that no human language has ever quite found the words for it. The ancient Hebrew text calls it simply Bereshit, in the beginning, two words that carry the weight of all eternity, spoken not in haste, not in crisis, but in the unhurried fullness of divine intention. In the beginning, God created, not frantically, not out of need, but with a quiet, overflowing love that had to give shape to itself. The way a river does not rush because it is afraid. It flows because flowing is its nature. And so, with a word, only a word, light came into being. Imagine that for a moment as your breathing slows and your eyes grow heavier. Before the sun existed, before the stars were hung in their places, there was a light that belonged only to the voice of the Creator, a soft, golden, sourceless radiance that had no shadow, a light that felt, if you could have stood in it, like being completely and entirely known, and completely and entirely loved at the same time. This is where your story begins, not in the noise, not in the struggle, not in the endless doing of things. It begins in a garden, walled in by grace, watered by rivers that had no name yet, tended by a Creator whose only purpose in that first luminous age was to make something beautiful for you. The earth was formed, the seas were gathered and held within their boundaries, and the text tells us that God looked upon what was made and called it good. Not merely functional, not merely sufficient, good. The Hebrew word is tov, abundant, pleasurable, full of delight. The Creator was pleased. Let that word settle over you now, like a warm cover drawn up against the night. Good. You were made by the same hands, held in the same intention. Good. Chapter 2. The planting of the garden, green and gold and breathing. Then came the garden. Eastward, in a land called Eden, and the word Eden itself comes from an ancient root meaning delight, meaning pleasure, meaning abundance beyond measure. The Creator planted a garden, not assembled it, not engineered it. planted it. The same word used for a gardener who kneels in the earth and places a seed with careful, knowing hands. Begin to see it now, as your body grows heavier and more at rest. The first light of that first morning in Eden was not harsh. It was honeyed. It came low and warm through leaves that had never yet grown old, through branches that had never been cut. Every tree in that garden was described in the ancient text as pleasant to the sight and good for food, meaning beauty and nourishment were not separate things. The world was designed so that what fed you also moved you to wonder. Picture the trees. Great canopies of them, with bark the color of cinnamon and amber, their leaves catching the early light and turning it to something trembling and golden. And beneath them, the ground was not bare. It was covered in soft mosses, in low flowering plants whose petals were the color of cream and rose and the faintest violet. There was no decay here, no brown at the edges of leaves, no thorns, only life, pressing upward and outward in every direction, unhurried and exuberant. The air in Eden would have been unlike any air you have ever breathed. Close your eyes and try to imagine it. Clean beyond any mountain air you have ever tasted, carrying the fragrance of warm earth after rain, of flowers you have no name for, of something green and ancient and pure. Each breath in that place was itself a kind of rest. Each breath was a gift, and the sounds, there was wind, but it was gentle, the kind that does not push or gust, but simply moves through the leaves like a long, slow exhale. The rustling of the canopy overhead was a constant, soft presence, like the sound of something breathing peacefully beside you in the dark. There was water. Oh, the water of Eden. A river rose in that garden and divided into 4 great streams that went out to water the known world. And before it divided, before it became anything as vast and purposeful as the Euphrates or the Gihon, it was simply a river running through a garden, clear as glass, cool to the touch, moving over smooth stones with a sound so gentle and continuous it was less like noise and more like music, played too quietly to consciously hear, but felt deep in the chest. The sound of running water has always been among the most restful sounds the human body knows. There is a reason for that. You were made near water. You were made in a world where that sound meant safety, meant life, meant that all was well. All is well. Breathe in. Let the imagined sound of that river move through you. All is well. Chapter 3. The creatures, every living thing breathing in peace. Into this garden, into this breathing, luminous, fragrant sanctuary, God brought the creatures, every living thing that moved upon the earth, every bird that carved its ark against that wide, clean sky. The text tells us that God formed them from the ground, the same ground as the garden, the same good red earth that smelled of rain and minerals and deep time. And they were brought, one by one, into the garden. Let yourself see them, moving gently through the green. A deer, pale gold, picking its way through a shaft of morning light, its ears tilted slightly forward, unafraid. It has never learned to be afraid. The concept does not exist here, in this first garden, in this first time. Fear came later, but not yet. Not here. Birds in the canopy above, not screaming or alarmed, but calling to one another in easy melodic phrases, the way musicians warm up before a long and beautiful piece of music. Their colors in the slanted light of Eden would have been extraordinary. Blues and greens and reds so vivid they seemed lit from within. A lion, stretched at the edge of a clearing, its great amber eyes half closed, its breathing deep and slow and even. Not hungry, not hunting, utterly at rest. In this garden, in this first age of the world, the great predators and the gentle creatures lay down beside one another. and there was no violence between them. The prophet Isaiah would later dream of this age returning, the wolf lying with the lamb, the lion eating straw, and it would sound like poetry. But it was memory. It was the echo of something that had actually been. This is the world God intended, not the world of struggle and survival and loss, but this wide, hushed, peaceable garden where every living thing had enough, where no creature needed to take from another, where the lion was as content as the dove. This is worth sitting with for a moment, as your breath slows and your thoughts grow lighter. Whatever in your life has felt like a struggle today, whatever felt like a fight or a loss or a fear you could not quite name, that is not the final word. The original word, the first word, the word spoken over creation before anything went wrong, was peace, was goodness, was delight, and the heart of God has not changed. You are held tonight by the same Creator who planted that garden, who brought those creatures in with such careful, intimate attention. The same eyes that watched a deer pick its way through Eden light watch over you now, in your rest, in your quiet, in this darkness that is not threatening, but simply the other half of the day, the part built for stillness and repair, and the deep sacred work of sleep. Rest, beloved. You are safe. Chapter 4. The first humans, shaped by hands that loved what they made. Then came the hour of Adam. The text is extraordinarily tender about this moment. For all the other creatures, God had spoken, "Let the waters bring forth, let the earth produce," and they came. But for the human, God knelt. The Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. Breathed into him. This is not the language of manufacture. This is the language of intimacy, of a parent leaning close to a sleeping child, of a musician breathing into an instrument they love. The creator of galaxies, the one who had spoken light into existence with a word, chose for this one act to come close, to touch, to breathe. And Adam awoke in Eden. Imagine that first waking. No memory of any other world, no grief, no accumulated weight of days. He opened his eyes for the first time into a world that was perfectly, specifically beautiful. The light through the trees, the sound of the river, the warm air moving over him, the grass beneath his hands when he sat up, soft, resilient, alive. He did not know yet that the world could be any other way. For him, this was simply what reality was, abundant, harmless, full of God's close and watchful presence. God walked with Adam in that garden, walked with him, not spoke from a great and terrifying distance, not thundered down instructions, walked. The way a father walks with a child he is showing the world to, pointing out this flower, this bird, this way the light looks in the late afternoon, not because the information is critical, but because the sharing of wonder is itself a form of love. And then, in that same tenderness, God looked at Adam and said the only thing in all of creation that had yet been called not good. It is not good for the man to be alone. And so God made Eve. She was not an afterthought. She was not a lesser creation. The Hebrew word used for her role is Ezer, a word that elsewhere in Scripture describes God himself when he comes to the aid of his people. She was strength and help and presence. She was the completion of something that had been, in its incompleteness, the one gentle absence in an otherwise perfect world. When Adam first saw her, his words in the ancient text are the first recorded poem in human history, a burst of recognition so sudden and so complete that it came out in verse. Bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. There are no fear words here, no uncertainty words, only the pure, astonished joy of recognition, of finding that the world, which had already been so very good, had just become more. Together in the evening of that golden age, they walked in the garden, in the cool of the day. The text gives us that small, specific detail, the cool of the day, and it is enough to build an entire world around. Late afternoon in Eden, the light going amber and long, the air losing its heat and becoming something silken and gentle, the river catching the last colors of the sky. Adam and Eve, unhurried, unafraid, moving through the trees in the presence of a God who was neither distant nor demanding, but simply there, close, warm, like the presence you feel in a room where someone who loves you is quietly resting nearby. This is what the very first evening in the world looked like. Peace unbroken, love unmistakable. Rest without guilt, without the shadow of tomorrow pressing down. Chapter 5. The Deepening Night. Stars over Eden. Gradually, as all first days must, that first day drew toward its close. The sky above Eden began to change. The gold faded. The deep blue came, not as a threat, not as an ending, but as a different kind of beauty. Fuller, quieter, more interior. The birds in the canopy settled into their roosting calls, those last trailing notes that say, "All is finished, all is well, the day has been enough." The creatures of the garden found their places for the night. The deer folded its legs beneath it in a soft hollow of moss. The lion stretched in the warm-kept earth at the foot of a great cedar. The birds tucked their brightness away into the dark leaves, and the garden was filled with the small, contented sounds of living things at rest. And the sky. Let yourself imagine the sky over Eden on that very first night. No city lights, no smoke, no haze of human-made illumination to dim the dark. Only the pure, extraordinary darkness of a world brand new, and in it, the stars. Every star visible to the naked eye, burning with a clarity that would stop you in your tracks if you could stand under it even for a moment. The Milky Way, not a faint smear, but a river of light, a great canopy of fire and distance and ancient beauty thrown across the heavens like a gift too large to fully comprehend. Adam and Eve lay down in Eden under that sky. They were not afraid of the dark. They had never learned to be. The night was simply the garden changing its light. The same good world, the same watchful presence, simply wearing its quieter face. And God, who does not sleep, who does not slumber, kept watch, as he always has, as he does tonight. And now, beloved, you too are held in that same ancient care. The same God who breathed life into the first human being, breathed with such tenderness, such nearness, knows the sound of your breathing right now, in this darkness, in this quiet, in the small sacred space of your rest tonight. You are not alone. You were never alone. Let your body grow heavier now, and trust the surface beneath you to hold you, the way the garden earth held all those creatures in their rest, without effort, without condition. Let your thoughts grow soft at the edges, like a river smoothing stone, like evening light on still water. You are safe. You are known. You are loved with a love that existed before the first morning, before the first tree, before the first river ran through the first garden toward the sea. Breathe in the peace of that truth, and breathe out anything that is not rest. Somewhere, in the deep of sacred memory, there is a garden that still belongs to you, where the water is clear, where the light is warm, where every living thing is at peace, where a voice walks with you in the cool of the evening and calls you by name and says, "It is good. You are good. Come and rest. You may go there now. The day is complete. The night is kind, and you are held in the beginning and in the end, and in all the quiet, unhurried moments between. Sleep now, be at peace. He gives rest to his beloved, even in sleep.